All right, we're live. I'm very excited about this. I am gonna work on some comics. So for those of you who might be tuning in for the first time or kind of joining, actually, I can take these off. Hold on a sec. For people who might be joining or kind of tuning in for the first time, let me kind of catch you up with what this is. So I do a live stream every night, almost every night, when I'm working on my graphic novels. So by day, I'm an art director, graphic designer, and illustrator. I've done art and illustration professionally for over 15 years, well over 15 years. And I've been an art director going on, I think like this might be my 8th year, which is kind of nuts. But anyhow, when I'm not doing that and hanging out with my kid, and then in the case of this comic, like when I get home taking a power nap so that I can have time to just um, rock and roll on a full graphic novel at night, I work on comics. And if you're curious about the kind of comics I've done, most of them are like independent comics, autobiographical in nature. So the first one, Two Stories, is an autobiographical graphic novel. The second one, Jacob's Apartment, is a slice of life story that's like a doomed romance story. And if you're curious about that kind of stuff, I don't want to plug it too much right now. So I'll just say check out the links below. But yeah, so this is the stream where I'm basically working on my comics, and right now what we're working on is this giant project, which is a 230 something page graphic novel called Not Death But Love: The Strange Supernatural Story of Elizabeth Barrett Browning. And it's created by Lavender Vroman, my sister, and myself. And so I have a full script that Lavender's written. It's a historical fiction story that talks about Elizabeth Barrett Browning and Robert Browning, the famous Victorian era poets. And it gets really interesting the further we get into the script. But right now I'm just roughing and comping out and then finalizing pages. And I think we're about 8 pages deep. Um, so anyhow, let me correct myself if I'm not right on that. So anyhow, during this stream, I'm going to work on that. I'll answer questions or like kind of engage with the chat as you guys show up, or if no one shows up, who knows? It's like midnight, so who knows who all will show up. But to catch you up where we were from yesterday, yesterday I had to do a bunch of research. Let me go ahead and pull this up. Had to do a bunch of research for page 8. We have, I'll catch you up on the story real quick, and then I'll pull up the screen where I'll share the art that I do and all that fun stuff. So the story so far, and this is just off the top of my head. So it starts with we see Elizabeth Barrett at the time. Elizabeth Barrett, she's not married to Robert yet, and we see her brother basically on a boat. The boat sinks. We then see next page the brother drowning underwater, a tragic death of her brother. The next page after that, we're introduced to 50 Wimpole Street, which is a Victorian, rainy Victorian street full of like sort of these Victorian era flats. And 50 Wimpole Street. And then we see like a carriage go by. And then the next page after that, we're introduced to Elizabeth, and she's lying on a chaise lounge in her room, and surrounded by books, sculptures, and all that stuff. And we get a poem by her, and then we also see her open her eyes, and you get the sense that she's been laying there pretty distraught over her brother's death. We'll get obviously more into that in the plot. So that brings us to page 8, which is where we're at. So we're going to be working on a page that's on the left side of the book, and now it's a really fun page full of a lot of action sequences. So it took a while to kind of comp out, thumbnail out, and kind of work out in sequential form, because one thing you guys will notice as you do comics more and more, one of the big challenges of doing sequential art is taking a verbal idea that's in text, that's full of a lot of actions and images and things that work okay in text. But when you try to translate them to the page, it becomes a real like hard challenge of like trying to be clear, because clarity is everything with comics. Like if you aren't being clear visually with your storytelling, you're not doing a good job. Like if you took the text out of the page, sometimes this can be used for good effect, but in general, good rule of thumb, it should read totally silently so that people could kind of understand what's happening, even if you had no text, or if it was a silent movie and maybe there was like a frame of text and then it's all silent. If you're doing that, then you're doing great sequential storytelling, right? Because people can visually understand what's happening in the story. But that's the challenge for the artists, when they're doing comics, is to take like a page that has a lot of complicated actions, and what even seems simple becomes really complex. It's really interesting. I know for those of you who've done comics, you know this. That's the deep secret of why comics are so interesting and challenging, is the second you dip into them, you realize like even just saying Bob walks across the room and high fives his friend. Like if you just said that, like it sounds simple, but like, okay, what does the room look like? Like where is Bob in the room? Where is his friend? Like which hand is he, right-handed? Is he left-handed? And again, like is he going to cross the line of action when he's doing that? Because I kind of have to keep Bob on the left and his friend on the right if like I'm trying to keep continuity. There's all sorts of rules to it that get really complicated. So it's kind of fun and challenging and it keeps the mind stimulated. But I think that's what we all love about comics. So enough of me talking. Let's pull up some art and let's get into tonight's work. Okay, so I'm going to go to pull up the stream. Oh my goodness. How did this not even show up? Hold on a second. There we go. Okay, now we have now we have the artwork showing up. So basically, yesterday we thumbnailed out a page, and then we managed to rough the first panel. And so we're going to kind of go through it. As usual, down here is the script, and so like basically we're going to get to page 8. So I'll scroll down to page 8 in the script so we can follow along to what I'm trying to kind of create from the page. And then right here is going to be not here. Here's the microphone. I feel like the guy, I did a t-shirt design years ago called Captain Obvious that went kind of viral online. And it was full of Captain Obvious as a superhero. This is like before the commercials and stuff existed. And he was like pointing at everything on the t-shirt. So he's like, this is a t-shirt. This is a panel border. I just felt like that guy by being like, this is my microphone. Anyhow, right over here though is where I'll be doing the roughs and stuff like that. And then I'm more than happy if you guys want to engage or talk or ask anything in chats. And also, if you're here live, I do take super chats too, which is a really good way to support the channel. So if you have like a really important question or you just want to show your support for the channel, super chats are more than welcome. Given that this is like 12, almost 12 midnight, like I'm not really expecting a ton of super chats, but who knows? It's always worth mentioning at the top. Hi, Philip. Philip joined in the chats. He said, I didn't think you were going to be on tonight. Yeah, I'm starting a little late, particularly because I kind of alluded to it yesterday. I had a really important meeting today at my day job, and I can report it went really well. And things are good, like really good, better than expected, which is kind of cool. So I can't get too much into the details of that because, like, again, I don't want to, make this stream about where I work or where I'm employed or anything. But anyhow, when I did get home, I kind of like hung out. I played guitar for about 10 minutes, um, hung with my kid for a little bit, and then I crashed, woke up, read him a book, went back to sleep, and then woke up knowing that I need to finish at least this rough tonight. So that's where I'm at. But you're right. Like I might have almost passed on working, but the thing is, this is a lot of pages, and I got to get this stuff done. I got to work on it, come hell or high water. And I'm actually really excited about it. So I'm kind of glad I took a nap I know that's a ton of detail for you guys, and you probably just want to see the art, but the point being, just like it's I feel refreshed and ready, and I have a whole pot of coffee brewing, and I'm willing to kind of maybe go all the way to 3 today. Usually my cold out is 2, but since I got a little extra sleep, I can probably get away with 3. So, that being said, let's get into it. Let me have some coffee, and then we're gonna start working out this page. After all, this is kind of the fun stuff, right? The only downside is, given that I did the thumbnail yesterday, a lot of this is going to be like trying to translate my thumbnail too and be like, well, what did I mean in this little scribble? All right, so here we go. So we're gonna kind of pull up the like I did before. We found a ton of awesome references that are going to be really helpful. So I'm gonna kind of pull all the references and kind of try to put them in like a border around the area that I'd need them. It's kind of like a mood board. Philip, I think you mentioned that you worked in animation and stuff in story, so like mood boards and stuff, where it's like, if you have a scene that you're going to be drawing a lot of, especially back in the day where like things were all done in house and stuff, you'd have like a tack board where you put up just like a ton of like all your great references, like maybe color palettes, like different sequences, scenes, costumes, like things from that era. And then you have that plethora of stuff just to kind of keep your mind free and in the zone while you're drawing. um, maybe that's not how they worked there, but I've seen a lot of illustrators do that, and it's a good method. So I'm kind of doing the equivalent of that, but my tack board is just a bunch of layers on Photoshop. My poor computer having to handle all those layers. All right, so here we go. And how's it going, Philip? I hope everything's going well for you, buddy. All right. Yeah, Philip said, "Yep, I remember all that." Yeah, because it's like it's so essential to have those. Like the whole goal of like drawing, to me, especially something like this, like a rough, where it should be loose and kind of fluid and fun, and you're kind of capturing movement and stuff. Um, the whole point is to like give you enough information so you're uninhibited as an artist when you're doing it. Because if you're inhibited when you're drawing, man, that's where it can get really dangerous. Okay, so we got our Chase Lounge that we found a 3D model of, and obviously we're modifying it a little bit, as you'll see when I pull up the previous page, which I'm always going to kind of keep a reference to that too, just to make sure we're keeping sequential integrity going. Okay, so we have our Chase Lounge. Now here I have Robert, so we're going to get our Robert stuff again, Robert and his costume. Now those were nicely placed somewhere out of the way so that I could kind of draw that. So we got Robert's costume and Robert. I think I can get away with like having this overlap a little bit. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Philip. He said too much to get into, but dealing with some aging issues and frustrations. Yeah, man, I've firsthand been witnessing that. I guess firsthand would be the wrong, but I have a few friends going through the kind of early aging difficulties, and I don't envy it. It sounds rough. So hopefully this will put like some brightness in your day or night, and hopefully they aren't super heavy, but again, like, whatever you feel like talking about, I'm down to hear. I also am like a lot more empathetic to those sorts of issues because, I'm a, this is probably not going to sound old to people, but for me, it's like I've finally hit a point in age where I don't recover quickly from stuff. So it's like, like 5 years ago or whatever, if I carried my kid around on my back or whatever, and like we walked through like Disneyland for a day, like I'd recover pretty quickly from that. But now it's like if I do the same exact thing, it's like my back's all thrown out and I'm screwed up for like a week. Like it's I mean it's weird how that gradually happens. And it's funny because it's gradual, but it's also like super fast. Like you blink and it happens. So not to be depressing though, uh but anyhow, that's my I'm trying to kind of reach out with like a point of relation as well, because which again is probably nothing near whatever you're experiencing, but I've been fascinated by that, like how quickly that happens. Which is another thing I will say for like why I'm really this is nerdy, but like part of why I'm excited that my career is starting to kind of finally like blossom a bit in the comic field is it's like it's getting to that point where I'm starting to see this like shrinking shrinking period of time to do something. And I'm so excited to have like the opportunity to try to knock some of these things out before out of the park before before I can't. Um I don't think the fireplace is going to be in this sequence. I need to pull my thumbnail up again. Let's get the thumbnail over here so we can kind of see. So the fireplace isn't going to be in this sequence. So I don't know why I turned that on. We are going to see a little bit of that drawing desk. We're probably going to see a little bit of we're definitely going to see some of the dinner tray. Oh my goodness. There's just too much references to pull up. This is why I need to eventually invest in actually maybe I have a birthday coming up, so maybe I'll invest in like a second monitor. That would be cool. I'm kind of a cheapskate when it comes to purchasing new items and stuff. I think a lot of that just comes from like, like if you live as an artist, you have to kind of learn how to live under a budget. Why won't this allow me to transform? That's interesting. Okay, so for some reason this is a smart object, so we're gonna go ahead and solve that issue. Call this dinner tray. Again, I just want to have pictures of the item that I'm gonna that we're gonna be doing here. There we go. Now I can transform it. Wasn't that simple? So, okay, so now we've got our dinner tray. What else am I going to have in that sequence? Knees are giving me trouble with stairs, and it's affecting my job and even getting into my apartment and studios, plus other aches and pains. Oh, that blows. Like the knees are yeah. Sorry, not trying to kind of dwell on it, but like, yeah, knee issues are the worst. Knee and hip. Luckily, hopefully it's not hip stuff too, but yeah, those joints, man. I talked about this on stream too, but it's and this again isn't to deflect, it's just to empathize. But I definitely am not trying to be like, well, let me talk about me and my issues. It's just more of like I can kind of relate a little bit because I had the ball, whatever that is, like the connection here on this thumb, not this thumb, but my left thumb because of repeated actions on a keyboard. It became completely unfunctional for like 3 months. It was a nightmare. Like if I used it or moved it, it would send this like shrieking pain. And so I had to go in and like initially they had me do some therapy stuff that didn't work. So then they give me like a cortisone injection, which is like, I'm sure you've had them too. But it's like this giant needle, um, yeah, aging is no fun. But anyhow, just the reason I brought that up is like just the experience of like when you have a joint that like when you move, and you're doing a function that you're used to doing, and then just suddenly it's like bringing pain and horror, it's like that's brutal. And that was horrible too, because like there was like 3 months after the cortisone shot where I had to do like those little squishy things and all that stuff and wear like a brace when I slept. I had to buy like a special one. Um, but uh but that's because I couldn't even hold a chord on a guitar because you have to use your thumb to like press a chord. So it's like I couldn't even play guitar for like 3 months, which is like something I really love doing. It was pretty brutal. But again, like it just gives me a point of relation where it's like, man, when you have joint stuff or like knee anything that's like a connection that you're moving, it's like a hinge almost. And if that hinge is like hitting disruption, it's super brutal. Okay, so let's get into this. So I don't envy what you're going through, but I relate. Okay, so panel two Cocker was what we were gonna do there. And then okay, there's my Elizabeth. That's good. It's good to have an Elizabeth. Oh, excuse me. I think this is useful. That's a historical sketch of Elizabeth Barrett Browning in her room, which is like the basis for a lot. It's literally one of the only we have like textual descriptions of the room, but like that's the only image that really we have of the inside of 50 Wimple. And it's kind of sad. Like I was kind of hoping they'd have like a tour of 50 Wimple since it's an existing building, and even if it's been refurbished and stuff, at least you'd see the structure of it, right? Especially from the inside. Like the main structure is there, and then just the fake front changed and stuff. I was hoping like maybe somebody who was a resident there would have like a YouTube walkthrough or like a Zillow listing or something. Um, but no such luck. Okay, and then we've got Elizabeth's maid, which is going to be a good thing as well. Okay, we have all our stuff pulled up. Oh, and then I need the previous page. Philip said, I was actually getting into bed when your notification came up on my phone, so I'll listen in for a bit, but I might not off. Yeah, that's totally good, man. Glad to keep you company. Let's see here. We have now got and that's a sketch by like one of Elizabeth's friends. I think that might even be by Robert. I don't know, of Flush, her dog. I don't need the chase. I just need the previous page. That's the previous page, kind of, but I wanted the other previous page, which I know is in here. I just have to pull that up and then we'll be ready to rock and start this parade of madness that is cartooning. There it is. Okay. So there's the previous page that we did. And I feel like for me that page was I know it's nerdy, but that page felt like a game changer for me. Where there's these moments in art where, especially when you're using a style that's like kind of a new approach or something like that, where you have a little bit of doubt, and then you have these like kind of core essential moments where, like I don't know, for me that page was really memorable because that's where I became convinced that this is absolutely the right direction for this book. Up until then, I was like, I'm liking how the pages are coming out, but who knows? Like maybe this isn't going to work out. As a doubt in the back of my head. But then when we made that page, I was like, oh man, this is actually going to happen. Like it's going to look really cool. My plans have worked. Okay. Anyhow, that's what I got out of that. Okay, where am I going to put this thumbnail where we can see it in a useful manner? Okay. I'm almost thinking I'm going to shrink that dog. All right. Yeah, let's shrink that dog down. There's another dog visible for some reason. That'll disappear in a second or two. I think the food isn't going to be any of those top ones. So I think we're good on that. And in fact, actually, the food may barely be visible, so we're trying to find, where is that other dog? It's like all this setup before the fun stuff. There it is. Panel 2 cocker was going to be this. I kind of like if he's still sleeping, and maybe he'll wake up in a second. Okay, let's go back to that thumbnail. And we're going to move that here. Just move it to a space where we can view it, but it's not going to be a pain. Okay, I got it. And then what we're going to do is make just a temporary little space behind that so we can see that panel. There we go. Okay, I think we're in good shape, guys. Okay, so first thing is first on this page. The thing that's going to kind of dictate this whole page is actually this Chase Lounge. That's going to give us a ton of information. So we're going to start with that. And Elizabeth's on it. Maybe we don't want to start with that. Maybe, I think the last time we just started with characters. And I should actually consolidate my layers a little bit here. Okay, merge down. Okay, so we have that all on one layer. Okay. All right, we're getting into it. I think we're going to start with Robert instead. I was going to say let's start with the obvious or whatever, but I think actually with Robert is going to be good. So we have Robert right here on the thumbnail. That's Robert, that little tiny guy on the right, the little scribble. And he's kneeling down. So that's the pose we're going to do real quick. This is what Robert looks like. Oh, hang on. This is what Robert looks like right back here in our sketches. And then that's his costume right down there. So we got pretty much everything we need to know. Okay, so he's going to be leaning down. So I'm going to very quickly draw it out and try to just kind of visualize it in my head, because I tend to draw better when I'm just kind of being loose and just sort of visualizing like what he's going to look like. So here, I'm going to have him, I want to make sure I get that nose, because that's a very distinct nose. He has like kind of a, I don't know if you can see that in his portrait, but it's kind of like a very distinct. He also has like kind of puppy dog eyes, like they droop a little bit. And then there's definitely some baggage under those eyes, but not quite as much as Elizabeth. Okay, so that's going to be, I'm going to get his profile in profile. So he's going to be sort of looking, I want him to have his beard. I'm definitely drawing him like way too large, but that's the beauty of, I think the beauty of digital is you're not constrained to like a certain size, and that can allow you to kind of get some details that you would otherwise maybe struggle to get. So Roberts just ran across the room. This is going to definitely not be very obvious at that point. He has like a very far back, seems like a very wide area here. And then we're going to kind of draw through it. And I think that'll get us Robert a little bit. Enough detail on Robert to kind of make this kind of happen. He has a very strange beard, though. It's almost like a Wolverine beard there, where it gets like kind of rad there. Okay, kind of rad there, eh? Okay, so okay, we got Robert's face. That's good. That to me is good enough for a rough. He is going to be looking to Elizabeth. So his head's actually tilted up a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and just give myself a lot of room to kind of get this wrong, too. Okay. So they have these high, like I'm looking at costume and costume, and I'm noticing they have these high, and also I'm looking at the pose from the thumbnail. So they have these high collars, and he's gonna have his shoulders out. So okay, cool. High collar, shoulder out, so that he can have. Yes. Okay. And these are like thinner jackets than in the past. So we have these sort of thin jackets. He's presenting his hand to her. And I'm just trying to kind of visualize in my head what that's going to look like as he goes back, presents his hand. You have to correct a little bit too when you're sketching, because quite often our inclination, my inclination at least as an artist, you always end up making heads like a million times too big for bodies. As a cartoonist, I think that's a pretty common mistake. So that's something I'm trying to kind of compensate for. Hopefully, I don't end up giving Robert like a total pinhead uh, in comparison. Okay. No, he's gonna have like a pinhead. Like I'm gonna give him like a Hellraiser thing. No, I'm just kidding. Okay. So I want to have the back arching like I do in the thumbnail, because I do think that was nice, like that movement there. So we're gonna have the back kind of arch a little bit. And then I'm gonna have, there's definitely gonna be some folds, because this is gonna almost like it's not that long of a jacket, but it's gonna hover probably just barely over the ground, is what I'm thinking. And then I'm gonna have him, and he's kneeling, so that's gonna have a lot of tension. I think he's almost like in a football kneel on my thumbnail. I don't like that. I think he needs to be kind of almost like leaning on his own knees there. So okay, and then we're really not going to see a ton of the shirt, so that's okay. And this might ride up a little high because he's bending. So we have like a back here, we have like a leg muscle. And then I'm gonna kind of do just one of those these crazy like awesome old things. It's funny. I have another spam bot joining in Twitch, and I only have like 10 followers there. My main following's on YouTube, so it's funny that spam bots, like, I wonder if do they get anyone clicking there? They said want to become famous by viewers, follows, and Prime on, and like list like a spam site. Thank you for sharing that. Surfista Comic Comlixo. That was the name of the spam bot. So anyhow, I might have to at some point try to find somebody who's like Twitch savvy who might want to mod when I'm live, so they can kind of ban that sort of thing. But I also prefer having like most of the people watching on YouTube. Oh, man, my allergies go kind of nuts at this time of night. And I think that when I have my first hour break, I will probably take some like Claritin or something, so as not to bug you guys. Now, would it make sense for him to be crouched like that? I had him kind of crouched where his other leg was like, kind of here, but that seems almost like taking a dump. So I almost think like the Prince
pose might be better. Not Prince like the musician, but the sort of like "Will you marry me" pose almost. As corny as it is, I think that might be the best bet here. And then we're gonna have like the shoe, and we'll get that sort of worked out. Okay, that'll work for Robert. This is, after all, a rough. And not a rough like the dog. The dog is a rough, but that's like a different kind of rough, right? I'm here all night, guys. I know that was a killer joke. It was the killer joke that kills all jokes. Yeah, Philip was saying, yeah, I thought he was maybe sitting on a footstool. Yeah, you thought that for a good reason, because it was a kind of a silly pose for me to have him make. If he's like on the ground, you know. Now keep in mind, I'm gonna go ahead and just establish his light source and stuff too. I might be going too far, but it's like you got to keep in mind there's a to his right there is a light source, so there might be a little bit of that. But I'm gonna cheat it on his face, like assuming we've got the secondary light coming from the magic space. I'm just kidding. It's probably gonna be from the open door or whatever. So okay, we've got Robert. I'm gonna make him a little bit smaller. I don't want to shrink him too much. Okay. So we've got Robert. I think compositionally I wanted him more like down here. I think now we can kind of get into the chase. Okay, so we're gonna have our chase lounge. And that is gonna be something like here. I'm just gonna draw it through him for now. Another little animation trick that people should find really useful is if you're drawing a hat or drawing items. I mean, you can draw around figures too, but generally, if you draw through them, you're going to draw them more accurately and the connections more accurately. And I find that really helpful, especially for drawing hats. Like, I had the darndest time drawing hats before I learned that rule. And then every once in a while, I'll forget that rule and then start having the darndest time drawing hats again. And I have to be like, oh, yeah, I need to draw it through, not over. And by through, that just means like you have like your head and then you literally just draw your hat over the head. Like, and then it'll look like it's sitting on the head, as opposed to if you draw like a head and then you're like, oh, now I have to draw. See, now I just by habit. So I almost by habit just did the same thing again. As opposed to if you drew around the head or whatever, and then people always end up with this scenario where you have like this gap where it's like, wait, what happened? Like when he takes his hat off, does his head look like this? No, but so the hat can't sit like that unless maybe he has like a head that looks like this. Oh my gosh, I'm drawing too many heads. Anyhow, so you can see how like there's an advantage of like when you have the full head drawn and then you want to draw like, I don't know, like a baseball cap or something. Then you can have the baseball cap and then right, like drawing through the head allows for like, wow, we have a baseball cap that's actually sitting on the head. Anyhow, rambling, but for me, when I first learned that, I was like, I remember it. You could have made like an explosion noise because it was so profound. It was like, whoa, drawing through things is cool. Okay. So now we're going to draw a little bit more of the chase. I want to look at our previous page. Okay, that's cool. She's covered by a blanket. So the chase is going to be covered by a blanket. And she is going to be in this sequence too. Oh, you know what? I forgot. We're going to consolidate by getting rid of what we don't need. Like now I don't need the costume. Now I don't need Robert. And now I can actually pull that some of these other things that are going to be more pressing, like let's see here. Where is the Okay, so like EB, since I'm going to be drawing her on this chase lounge, that'll be helpful. And then I do want to find where I had that where did I put my There it is. Haha, page 6. Okay. Oh. Okay, let's do that again. Okay, so I'm going to move that. I think move that here so that we have like you know what, for now we'll move it here and then we'll once we have this section made, then we'll be good. Okay, so let's get back to the page. Find where my chase layer is. Okay. So this is going to be the main thing we're pulling from the nice 3D model there is also this like bend. So I love that. And that kind of gives me a little bit of room to like know where I'm going with it. So I'm going to kind of pull that for that section. And we're going to kind of use that area. So then there's going to be some pillows. And then we're going to have Elizabeth on the chase. Chase is on the case. My son used to be really into Paw Patrol. So now if somebody says Chase, I think of the dog Chase. And Chase is on the case. Okay. References that far outdate me, or you know, I don't quite fulfill. Oh goodness, did I cover up my thumbnail? Okay, I didn't. Good. Okay, I want her kind of looking to him. So right now she's gonna be. You know what? Let's. Yeah. Okay. So be confident. Be bold. Okay. Here we go. So she's gonna be here, kind of like looking to him. And I think she's going to have her sort of expression of but also with she has very broad. Okay, there we go. We've got that going. We're going to kind of again draw through. She's going to have some bags though. All right, maybe not that many bags. That bag was too far. That was a bag too far, you guys. Okay. So then we're going to have our hair, and then I'm going to have to shrink the crap out of this giant head. I tend to do that. I start with heads like way too large. So there we go. And then we're going to have her. So it's funny, a lot of this process I'm even doing here, other artists in the past used to just use like sheets of tracing paper where you'd like, if you drew a head too large or something, you kind of like put another sheet over it so you can kind of see it and then draw it smaller. And then like you layer all the sheets to kind of piece together really strong figures. Or you just kind of redrew it or draw over it. And then in animation, the cheat with that is you kind of start with like one color of pencil and then you go over it with like a second color of pencil that's a different color. Do want to kind of make sure we see like this awesome, lovely black hair that she has. Okay, and she is propped up in bed here. So we're gonna have like almost like that. So then we have she's gonna be. What is she doing in this pose? Okay, so her hand is reaching out to him. So she's wearing, what is she wearing here? Okay, they're long sleeves. Oh, and they have wizard sleeves. Yeah. This is where the wizard sleeves are going to rock some socks, you guys. So she's going to be reaching out with her wizard sleeves, her rad wizard sleeves. I thought that was so cool to realize. I don't know if that's just me being insane, but it seems like everything I researched on Victorian fashions was like these wacky wizard sleeves. So this is going to be her kind of reaching out her hand to him. And then she's going to be like, this hand is more just casually resting on there. Philip said, "I'm sorry, Josh. I got to call it a night." Nothing to be sorry for, man. I appreciate you coming by and hanging out. All right. So I think that'll work. Her posture is going to be, maybe she's got a little more. Okay, there's blankets. Those blankets are going to be covering most of the chase lounge. Ooh. My goodness, you guys. You see how this happens? So her posture is going to be covering most of the chase lounge, but she not posture, her blanket, which is kind of going to be like pouring into a not pouring, but just like more clearly sort of draping down. And then her legs will go to here, and this is where we're going to have our dog sitting. I think I might have made the mistake of having that part a little too, but I'll at least use, like, I might have made it too short. Okay, so that's going to be our basis. So first I'll just draw the whole of it. And we're going to kind of have, where are we at for time? Okay, cool. We're almost through the rough of panel 2. It's funny, these roughs take a while, but I think they're helpful. And then this is going to have that crazy swirly bop pattern that's on the previous page, where we've got like sort of the swirly bop pattern. It's got like some stuff like that. The indent you're going to see here is going to be from that circular part. And you're definitely going to see a strong one here where we have more the end of the bed. Okay, and probably that might come a little off screen. Okay, so now let's add a little bit of lighting to this and see if this is working out. So she is going to be on her chase lounge. There's going to be heavier lighting here because there's a strong light source in front of her coming, as we established, coming from the fireplace. Definitely some strong shadow there underneath. And then we'll sort of move through. Okay, so now we're getting closer, you see? Closer to the thumbnail, which is to the left of, here, I'll show you guys. So there's the thumbnail. We have that little section. So the next thing we're going to have to do is the dog flush. But the nice thing is now we've got Elizabeth done. Boom, goodbye, Elizabeth. And I'm going to keep up that room, which is good, but we have the chase lounge drawn. So we'll go ahead and pull that reference away. And now we're going to move some of the other references into frame or out of frame. Okay, I like that being there. I think that is useful. I think that since we're drawing the dog, I'm going to move him a little bit more up here. I think that we're not drawing the fireplace. Okay, the dinner tray is definitely going to be right here so I can kind of see it. We're going to have the food a little bit closer up, and then we're going to have the where is it? Not the bookshelf. I want that drawing desk. Drawing desk doesn't need to be here. Just the dinner tray. That'll be good to have. Okay, cool. And we sort of know what that dinner tray looks like because of this. It's right there. And okay. So let's get our dog here, Flush. And like let me consolidate these two layers because I actually like that positioning a little bit. I'm wondering if she should be a little lower. Maybe just a little bit so they're a little more, yeah, that makes a little more sense. Merge down. Okay, so now we're going to draw our dog. Let's draw the little dog. I kind of like the idea of just this sort of crazy Cocker Spaniel. He's going to have his head tilted. I'm going to have him have, and then we're going to do almost to a T that pose where Flush is going to have his hair like that. Maybe he's got like his paw much equivalent to that, and then maybe his other paw. So maybe I drew him a little too big. He's going to look a little silly here, but that's okay. That's what dogs do. And then he's going to be sleeping on, there's going to be like some impact on his thing. And I kind of like the idea of maybe we'll have him, maybe he's got his other, maybe his other ear is just kind of hanging off the edge there. Okay, so now I'm going to go back to this, sort of erase this. And then we're going to go back to this, erase the top there, and give it. Flush is a good dog for sitting there. I think that's about in scale. So Flush is now sleeping in this room by the light. And then on the next panel, I'm going to have Flush like what? Wait, what's going on here? Okay, so we got our dog sleeping. Merge down. So now we've got that kind of worked out. Now we need to, so I can turn off the dog now because I don't need that reference anymore. Okay. Now we need that tray and the dinner. So, okay. Where are we at for time? Okay, cool. I could tell it's almost an hour in, but I think we can get further. We definitely have to finish the roughs tonight. That is an absolute goal, an absolute must on this. Okay, so in my thumbnail, I have the dinner tray sort of like right here. And it might be coming off the page a little bit, but that's okay. So the dinner tray is going to be something like here. Needs to be a little closer. Dinner tray is going to be something like here. Got it. Okay. Then we're going to have handles on the dinner tray that are something like here. I know that's a little strange, but this is a really fascinating table that has like a bendy thing at the top. Cool. Okay. So we're going to get that table that has the bendy stuff. And we're going to do a very quick rough of it. And again, just drawing through items. Not like insanely worried about scale at this point because I can always scale things down. Okay. So we have that. We know that this item has like sort of a Victorian sort of pattern to it. Maybe. And then here it's going to have like a similar thing. And then it's literally just on standing legs. And now we're going to have our plate, our crazy plate, guys. There's a tray. It's got this like crazy pattern. It's going to be this Victorian era tray that's sitting on here. Again, it doesn't need to be like crazy yet because we're not doing like a close-up detail of it. And I think the tray is going to be here, and then it's going to have food on it. I want it to have like these meats, so we're going to do that, like some of those meats. I kind of like almost think that might be enough. And then I like the idea of it having one of those kind of crazy tubey things, like whatever that salmon-y thing is with the like, because I think they were talking about there being a lot of like gelatins and curry or whatever. So again, not a super detailed shot yet, but that'll at least get us in the territory of being where we need to be. And again, this is a rough. So now we've got that piece together. So we have that piece of furniture, and I actually like that framing. I don't think we need to reduce the size yet of EBB, which is what I'm gonna try to call Elizabeth from now on for a little bit. Okay, we have that far, so check on our thumbnail. We got like check. Now we need. Okay, I'm gonna pull that thumbnail now because we actually don't need that dinner tray anymore. So goodbye, dinner tray. Bam, done. Okay, I think I'm gonna actually move that thumbnail and the little backer so I can read it. I'm gonna move that a little closer. We're gonna have a bookshelf in the background, but is the bookshelf primary? No, I need to show the maid. Let's look at our script. I forgot to pull up the script for this, so let's go back to panel 8. Okay. And the maid is going to go to the window and pull aside the curtain to keep watch from the street below. That's half of what we're showing. We're showing multiple actions here. So maid, go into the curtain. I think we can... Okay, I want to see the maid now. So let's get rid of... Let's see. Okay, consolidate my layer here. Merge down. And then I'm going to find... Oh, I need to save. That would be helpful. Find that page layer again. And I think this can move here. So we can see the maid and see the background that we already kind of worked on. Okay. Perfect. And we still have like a good minute left, so let's get through it. Okay, so we're going to go here. We're going to have the maid. She's back here. So we have a bookshelf, which I'm kind of, well, I don't want to draw the bookshelf yet. I was going to draw the bookshelf because it's fun to draw a bookshelf, but okay, we're going to have the maid. Where is my maid picture? I want that picture too, because I think just having that super inspiring kind of right here. Okay. Okay. So here we go. We're here. Now we're going to have our section where we get into the fun stuff. So we're going to show the maid is here. She's sort of got her crazy hat, awesome old Victorian hat there, and we're not going to see the flower, but we are going to see her hair that kind of goes out like that, and she's going to be looking through the window. And again, Victorian necklines were really accentuated in their clothing, so I really want to highlight that. So now she is going to have her she's going to be further in the background. So again, I'm going to be probably redrawing this a little bit. That's okay. And her arm was going to be up a little bit, actually. Okay. I actually like the gesture of that that thumbnail that I'm looking at down here. It kind of gives me a lot of good information. So then we're going to move our hand through here. And then, okay, we have this going. This is going to have that bow like we established on the last thing. And I think we're going to have her, she's kind of opening the window, and we're going to have that frilly thing again, because there's like a frilly sort of apron type skirt thing. And I think that might do it. That arm is just chaos, man. Chaotic forearm there. Where she was about to, like, I don't know, sort of deal with that gigantic arm. That's a little better. Okay. So now we're going to have her, she's pushing the drapes. I'm not super concerned about it going over because, again, we have that all in a separate layer. So she's going to be pushing the drapes open. And I don't like that in my reference, it didn't have it like clear that she is pushing the drapes open. I want it kind of like, there we go. That gives a little more momentum to that. So these drapes are being opened. And then we're going to have our flat drapes here, our other side of the drapes. And again, like, it's probably going to be at more of like that kind of angle. Okay, cool. So flat drapes of the curtain. And I think I want to have, she's looking out into the street below. So we're going to have that definitely as a thing. And I'm pretty sure that's what the street things look like. And these are like pretty massive windows that are almost like top to bottom. So now let's get that a little more in perspective, what we've kind of sketched there. So maybe I'm forcing the perspective a little too much there. Window kind of works, but the back curtain, you know what? Maybe it's better if it's like a little more. Yeah, and then we'll fix that back curtain. Okay. So the back curtain is going to be here. I was just forcing the perspective a little too much. Okay, so that's what we're going to see. It's going to be the, yeah, and then I do want, like, I want it to be kind of like we do see a semblance of like the shadow of outside or something where it's got like some details. So we're kind of seeing what she's looking out there. Okay. Oh man, that was a mistake. Okay. What we'll do is ghost that in once we do the lighting. Okay, so she's in the background. That's good. She's about where I planned for it, which is cool. So we'll kind of work that into it. And again, this is going to go a little bit further back. Okay. So, and then we have here, as we know from that, we're going to have like a portrait picture, which again, I can pull up. Oh, it might be a good time to stop briefly because we're well past the hour mark. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play a trailer real quick for my graphic novel Jacob's Apartment, and then I'll be back on very briefly or shortly, and we'll continue roughing out this page. So this is for my upcoming book that's coming out in June 7th from Graphic Mundi. Check it out. Oh, wait, that did not work. That was a background layer. Hang on a second. And here we go. And I'll be shortly back with a refill of coffee. And I hope you guys are having a pleasant time listening along. And I'll see you in about a minute. Clearly it seems that only in dreams can we be these things we've seen and walk around breathing things. I don't know the part to play in this heart of mine. There's dissonant things, they split at the seams. We're back. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that trailer. I enjoyed my break and my refilling of coffee, which is my Swizzle Stick Army mug from the Jim Luhan store. It just dawned on me that I have that image of her again. Okay, EBB, and not that one. There's a sketch of her that's like that we kind of turned off visibility on, and I think we might need to see. Here, nope, different sketch. I need to do a better job at labeling my layers. Maybe I don't. That's the Cocker Spaniel. Where did we put it? There was like a historical sketch of her, and I'm not sure where we put it, unless we deleted it or something. And in that case, it may not be too big of a deal, but I'd like to pull it up. Here. Nope, that's EB again. I'd like to pull it because I'm pretty sure it gives us insight into... Oh, there it is. Okay, it's hiding. It's visible. Okay, so I want to pull that up because that one is really helpful because it's going to give us an idea of like the portrait that's behind her. Okay. So I want to kind of have that there because it's going to give us a rough idea of like what that room looks like. Okay, boom, there we go. Now we're going to do some more magic here. Okay, more fun drawing. I know you guys. What's funny is like a lot of these things, people will like either be super quick, like they're basically doing the same thing I'm doing, but like a million times quicker, or you'll find that like uh, that's too high or too low, or you'll find that like people will do a speed drawing, so it's like you see all this pre-work, but it's like sped up to like you know a really quick amount of time. Um, and then you have guys that like are super quick artists and they'll have it done in like a second, you know. So this is going to be that portrait. Um, just sort of a weird circular thing here going on, and there we go. Kind of get just a semblance of what's going on there, and then these hung like the way they used to hang paintings is so strange, but it kind of makes sense. And then we're gonna have like some cool molding at the top because that's what they did in England. They had like these crazy molded like kind of anywhere there was like a chance to have like crazy interesting molding. Um, okay, and then we have in our original sketch, I don't like the perspective on this too much. Okay. In the original sketch, we have her her drawing table. So now we can move the drawing. I guess we don't need to see that food either, which is great. We'll just have to pull it all up again on the next sketch. But I think that now we're getting into the shelf and the drawing desk. So the writing desk is going to be here. That's basically what we want over there. I want my writing desk to be kind of here. We're going to have it sequenced out to where, there we go. Writing desk. I'm getting too sketchy. Be more confident with my line. Writing desk. Okay. And then we're going to have like some of these filigree things. Fill it in. It's not super far because it's not like a huge room in the area. She's sort of snug in a specific spot, you know. And that's going to go to here. Have like more of that writing desk again. Some of these things over here. Writing desk. Boom. Here. And I'm going to have it kind of go like this. What did we have on the table? There's papers here. There's 3 papers that I wanted to have. And then there was like a pen here that I want to have. And then we're going to get into the fun stuff of, where's my bookshelf? The bookshelf. Okay. Bookshelf is going to be here. Let's see from our overhead shot. Yeah, the bookshelf is snug right against it. So that actually is nice from this angle. Okay. Where is my drawing desk? Where did I draw my drawing desk? Oh no. Where was I drawing my drawing desk? I thought I was on the correct layer when I was drawing that. Oh man. We have a stray drawing, you guys. That is okay. It's wherever the maid is. No, it's not. I accidentally drew it on the drawing desk layer. Okay, so we're going to cut that out. And then we're going to go back to our proper layer here, where it should have been. I'll move it back to where it needed to be. Okay, so we have that drawing desk placed where it should be. I'm going to actually erase this part of it because we're going to have here like a bookshelf. And I might have to correct a little bit of that maid. I think she's too high up for the panel, but that's okay. That's what we do, guys. We draw, we correct, we revise. Okay, and again, getting a little too sketchy. I think here has some, there's going to be some like plants that are kind of happening. And then we're going to draw our bookshelf. And again, it's a rough, so I'm not too worried about it being like super perfect. It's going to have that, and then we're going to have our base, which is here. So now we're going to have our books, which I think I have like kind of stacked in different ways. Those will be going back. Then we have our books here that are kind of stacked. Some of them are coming forward, some of them aren't. I kind of like the idea of having some sculptures. Here will be just books. And then again, we're going to have here, like, I think I like the idea of the sculpture again, like a kind of unknown sculpture that might be kind of getting cut off, sitting in there. Maybe I will steal this little, whatever this is. It almost looks like a little writing section thing. That's cool. All right. And then we're going to have this actually be higher. So I don't know if it needs to be. And this is going to have like that sort of detail there. And voila. Okay. Now we've got a writing desk stuff, writing desk action. We got this that I want to correct just a little bit. Let's get back to like kind of, her maid's going to be sort of over here. I think that works a little better. And maybe she's scaled up just a tiny bit. And I think that works a little bit better. So we're going to kind of delete this. We're going to fix up some of the line art on the maid. Don't like how that was going. So I was drawing with like a super thick pencil there. So she's going to have her maybe like foot here. And then we'll erase a little bit. The nice thing is, like, the more we kind of draw of this room, the less of this extra crap we have to look up, which I'm very excited about. Okay, so then we're going to have our molding, kind of like the molding leading off the page. And then these are on a thing. And then the rug, her rug has like a weird oval thing going on. I know it's kind of weird, but it's like a bunch of ovals within ovals. Whatever, we're just doing roughs here. Okay, and ovals. I don't know why, she had like ovals. Well, maybe circles, like, but they're like little target patterns that were like all over the floor. Yeah, that was interesting. Okay, there we go. And now we're going to turn off all of our stuff, all of our references. And we're at a point where we have the rough pencils. And again, we're doing roughs here, not thumbnails. Oh, should turn off the visibility of this. Merge visible. And then we're going to have our thing here. Luckily, I don't think we need these notes anymore. That's cool. Okay, so now we are two thumbnails deep. Not too bad. And I keep calling them thumbnails when we're doing rough pencils here. We're doing like a good chunk of the work that will need to be done for the final pencils. So now we're adding a light source that's going to be coming from the fireplace that's behind them. So that's good. There's going to be a secondary light source. So like she's almost going to be like rim lit by like both the light of like the street lamps outside and kind of like there's like a secondary light source. So similar to these will be there. Here is going to be the outside. But again, we're going to have a little bit of light coming in from out there. We're going to have our this room isn't super well lit, so but it's going to be a little brighter now that Robert's arrived. Okay, so desk is going to be way more in shadow. This area of the bookshelf probably a lot more in shadow. And now the books are definitely going to be under a little bit of shadow. And then we're going to have like some more kind of defining shadows in there. This is definitely going to be in shadow. Now we're going to get into our fun stuff of like floor, which again will be sort of blocked out as gray a little bit. And I like the idea of let's pop the shadows a little bit more so it's really clear what's going to happen here on the sense of like the shadows. Okay, look at that. What do you guys think? I think that's a good rough. Okay, so we got this merge down. I'm going to save. Now we're going to get to our next thumbnail. Whew, man, it's hard work, this stuff. The nice thing is some of these are just close-ups too. So I think we can do it. Okay, so we're going to have our dinner tray here. Dinner tray is going to be somewhere like here. We're going to have Elizabeth here. Maybe Elizabeth's like more like here. Robert's here. Dinner trays here. Something like that. So, and then Watt. So it's going to be a little smaller. But we'll kind of get through it. I'm excited to kind of go on that journey with you guys. So, all right. Disappear for 2 seconds and then we'll get into it. The nice thing is Robert's hat. We totally forgot Robert's hat. It's in that first panel. He's holding it. This one is going to have his hat. I forgot. Easy fix. I have the hat sitting here. His hat is going to be there, and maybe it has a little bit of light on it. This is why like roughs are so essential. Can you imagine like forgetting the hat? And we're going to do a little bit of that. So it's seats in there. Okay. Boom. he's so excited to see Elizabeth that he's dropped his hat, and the maid is so nervous about that guy coming back that she has forgotten to take his hat, as would be like expected. Okay, I'm going to take a 2-second step away. This one won't be like a trailer thing. It's just I'm going to go step out, vape for like 2 seconds, clear my head, and then we'll get into the second or the third thumbnail panel. Whew. It's hard with like room sequences. The stuff that goes really quick with thumbnails is just like headshots, where you don't have to worry about environment or research or anything like that. Okay. Okay, so the great thing is we can get a little more into this, and I think with less reference, we'll see how that goes. So I'm going to look at my thumbnail there. I'm going to move it so I can see it a little clearer. Haha, there we go, where it says dog. Okay, and I'm going to try to... Oh, you know what? Okay, so we got to pull our other stuff. Let's do it proper. Okay, so there's our chase lounge. That's going to be in that exact position, which is really useful. Our chase lounge. Okay, we have Robert's costume, which is going to be probably the first thing we draw. So I'm going to keep that real close. In fact, we might just pull these up as we go. So right now we're going to draw Robert. Okay, let's do that. I think that might go quicker. Okay, so we're going to draw Robert here, and he is here in frame, head close to the top, somewhere around here. Okay, we're going to have him looking down to her. He's looking kind of lovingly at her. He has like kind of heavy eyebrows. Oh, goodness. He's going to have his somewhat like very distinct hooked nose sort of thing going on there. So then he is going to be, and I always draw the heads a little too small, too large, and then I'll shrink them down. He's going to be smiling. Maybe his eyebrows are a little up. I think that's how I had him in the thumbnail. Okay, so then we're going to have him, again, his hair is going to be kind of over that way. And he has like a really far back. I don't know if I'm going to have him balding in the final one. I don't know if I did that. Yeah, I did that properly. That's good. So we're going to have his ear here. Ear will be here. He's going to have like sort of this, almost like combed over a little bit. Okay, there he is. There's my expression. Again, roughs, not finals. So then he's going to have, I might have done the ear too far ahead. Let's put that ear back a little bit. Okay, Wolverine thing going on there. Okay. And he's going to have his posture a little back. So like neck's going to be up. skulls in a little bit. We're not going to see the front of him yet, but this is going to be the collar of his shirt, and then his shoulders are going to be kind of almost like that. Okay, cool. We're just going to go ahead and draw till we run out of room, and then I'll shrink it down. You know what? Let's shrink it down. So Robert's here. Okay. That will help. Okay. So then we have like our costume, which is like it kind of comes down a little bit. There we go. And then we have his arm, which is going to be reaching out. And I think here he's going to be sort of like, there we go. Just doing his hand. I like the shoulders kind of come up a little bit. That's okay. Here it's going to be his arms a little bit back, like as if he's doing almost the same gesture. And I like a little more movement to it. So I want him to like kind of have his posture a little, almost like he's leaning back a little bit, just to give it a little more dynamic movement. Okay, and then we're going to have, that's definitely where the pleat happens anyway, so that kind of works. Okay, and then we're going to have like this sort of draping over. And then we got to shrink him down just a little bit more. Perfect. Okay, we're getting closer, guys. And then we're going to shrink him down just a little bit more, like I said, like 5 seconds ago. And we're going to have his knee is here. Robert, very interested. Maybe now his shoe is kind of coming off a little bit. And we had him sort of leaning. So maybe that foot. Okay. So there we go. We've got like a rough of Robert and his pose. The lighting here is going to be a little more clear that it's like the fireplace, but I want that secondary lighting still. So I like that. I don't want to overdo it, but he does have a black coat on. So I want to make sure we indicate that for my future self, who will high-five me for spending this much time on roughs. Because again, like the tighter the rough, I mean, you want it loose, but it's like the more kind of composed your roughs are, what I've found, the finals go a billion times quicker. So, okay. So there we go. We got Robert. I think he's taking up too much of the panel space still. So we'll figure that out. Okay. Let's do the Chase Lounge. That might actually help us position Robert better. I might have wanted to start with the Chase. That might have been a smart call if I were a smart man. So we have our Chase Lounge up there. We're going to go ahead and it's in the proper angle, so that's good. I'm going to go ahead and sort of work that out. I want it to be somewhat from that angle. And then we're going to do our, definitely going to have the thing here, as well as the stretch here. And I know there's pillows, so we're going to have some pillows. And then there's definitely blankets where the thing would rest.
So I'm thinking Robert might be ginormous here when he should be kind of more here. Okay, perfect. And that'll give enough room for the dog. I love it. Okay, so now we're going to have Elizabeth. I don't think I need a ton of reference for because we have her right there. So Elizabeth here is going to be looking up a little bit. She's going to be looking up. This. Okay. She's going to be looking up a little bit, kind of smiling. So we're going to have her smiling. Her nose. And let's do a little bit more of a chin there. That would be helpful. Okay. And we're going to have, I kind of want it more cut in. Oh my goodness. Why am I drawing so crappy right now? Okay. Well, let's visualize it again. Okay. She is going to be from like a 3/4 perspective, head up a little bit. More like that. And got it. Okay. I also should be, what am I doing drawing this on the same layer as the chase? Okay, so we're gonna erase some of this. She has like very like blankety parts here, like not blanket, I don't know what you'd call it, like jaggy hair at the toward the bottom. She's got a taller forehead there. So let's get that correct. Okay. And then we're going to have her sort of like proudly like, oh, hello, you know, that kind of thing. And maybe her eye expression is a little more like down there. Oh. There we go. That gives us an idea of like where we're going to have her. Okay. And then her hair is a little more cool than that. Goes a little more like that. Okay, so then here I'm going to have her, and this is going to be, she's looking up, and then we have her kind of frilly nightgown thingy. And in this case, okay, her arm is going to be more like, she has her hand up. Are they holding hands in this one? Oh, okay. She's got her hand up and she's reaching it over. So like this. No. Hand is up here. Got it. Okay. With her wizard sleeves. Wizard sleeves, guys. And then she's got her other arm. What is her other arm doing? Ah, okay. Still kind of resting. But maybe this one's a little more on her side now. I think it would make more sense if she was like, had her hands over here. Got it. A little more like that. Let's get our chase lounge a little more out of the way.
So then she's going to be leaning forward a little bit. Oh, I don't like that arm now. Okay. And we're going to have her. Robert's going to have to shrink like significantly, or the chase is going to have to get a lot larger. But anyhow, so now we have her posture is going to be a little more like that. I don't like the arm again, still thinking the arm should be just casually resting still. Okay, we're going to do that instead for the arm. Casually resting works a little better. Okay, and then we're going to have the dog over here. We're going to have Robert shrink. Robert's here. That makes more sense. Way more sense. Landon said it's 1:14 in the morning. I should be asleep, but was having vivid dreams. Huh. Were they vivid dreams about the Brownings? Because I've been having a ton of those. Hopefully they were fun, vivid dreams. It's interesting when you have like crazy sleep, like a rough sleep night, because yeah, it can really mess with your okay. So now we're gonna have our thing here. I want to have Robert's feet a little more kind of worked out. Okay, on those like crazy legs. Okay, and then we're gonna have her a lot more kind of in shadow. Just going ahead and doing my shading like right over the line work, because why the heck not? And this is going to be much darker as it kind of recedes back, as it was casting a bit of a shadow there. This will be darker because it's on this side. And we're going to have our wacky pattern or whatever on the thing that we can kind of work out a little better toward the as we kind of work it out. And then we're going to have our dog over here. We're getting a little closer, guys. A little closer to final. Robert's definitely casting a bit of a shadow here. Okay, and so is his coat. Okay, so that's where we're at so far. Let's see. Pretty excited, actually. I think we're making pretty good progress. Now we have panel 3 Cocker. Yeah, that's what I want. Or do I want to use the one we were originally going to have on panel 2? Let's see. I think I like the panel 2 one here. So we kind of switched where we were going to have our dogs. But I feel like for this sequence, that's going to work a lot better. Okay. Let's go back to our Elizabeth. Let's merge down. Merge down. Okay, so now we have these all consolidated to one thing, and now we're going to sketch out our dog, who's going to be right here. I think he's going to be like, what the heck is going on, dude? So, and again, we're just going to kind of go with it. And I'm drawing him way larger than he needs to be, but that is okay because we will shrink him down. So there's his, oh, he's going to have some cool red fur there on his chest. He's a Cocker Spaniel, and that's what they're going to do. And then we're going to have him, yeah, he's got like a little chill thing going there. Okay. How big was he in relation to Robert there? Aha, perfect. That kind of actually works out really well. I'll have his butt cut off just a little bit. Okay, and then we don't need a reference much anymore. Oh, now I'm really curious. Landon's talking about his dreams in chat. I'm excited. Okay, I'm gonna read them in a second. Because I think dreams are fascinating, man. Okay, so this is going to be the dog who's just like, what the hell, man? I was napping. Suddenly you're in my room. Like, you know what I mean? If you guys have had dogs, you'll know what that is. It's like him like having that wake up moment of like, what the, who the, because from all accounts of Flush, her dog, it seems like it was very much like a family member almost. So it's definitely one of those dogs that's like pampered and doing its kind of thing. Okay, so we're gonna merge down. So far, so good. We're kind of matching a little bit of the thumbnail, but making it a little more real, but also keeping it kind of rough. Okay, now we got to get our food. Ugh, I'm so tired of food trays and food, but it's good to have. Okay, so we do not need to see our Chase Lounge anymore. Don't need to see Robert's costume. We do need to see our dinner tray. Ta-ta! Oh, man, our dinner tray. I need to see where is my page? Oh, so Landon said, dreams about all those who saw the Matrix for what it was and broke through the illusion. People like Einstein, John Lennon, Plato, the list goes on. In order to change the system, you must see it for what it is. These guys were thinkers. They all thought beyond limits of their surroundings or the reality they were told to accept. Interesting. Yeah, I think innovative people are really fascinating. When you look into like people who, even if they worked within systems, like you're right, there's like this almost like matrix like ability to sort of think about the systems and sort of see them from a different level. Like if I think of somebody like Einstein, right? Like it's like he I'm no expert, but it's like from what I gather from his biography, he kind of, it's not like he bucked the system. He just like saw what was working in it, and then it's hard to verbalize. It's like he was just playing a different level of chess than everybody else. Like he could kind of um see things for what they were, or like kind of maybe like pushed things and not listen to like no I don't know. It's hard to kind of describe because it's like, yeah, for sure they were like rebels, but also they were like really aware of like what is working and what isn't, and then they kind of worked beyond that and weren't afraid to kind of push the envelope a little bit, which I anyhow. So that's a fascinating thing. What a cool dream. I wonder what you were thinking about before the dream, that because that's always an interesting thing. Like what thought kind of placed that dream in there? Maybe you were thinking about innovation or something. So here we're going to have our table. I'm going to try this and see if it works. Okay. Our table is going to be here where we have that kind of thing. Yeah, that's a really good way of putting it. I think that's what I was stretching to say, Landon. He said Einstein had a bird's eye view, whereas we had a worm's eye view. Yeah, I that's what I mean. I think it's like a ability to sort of like think bigger. That's the thing. It's not so much like thinking against, it's like being able to kind of see things as they are, um, but then also see like the grander scheme. Yeah, I'm always impressed and amazed with genius. And like Lennon, it's funny. Lennon always gets mentioned as a genius. So I think, I think McCartney for sure too, right? Like, if you watch Let It Be, the documentary, it's so good, but it's crazy. There's like times where, you know, it what's crazy about it is like when they're writing these like iconic songs that like like I mean crazy iconic songs, like massive hit, just brilliant songs that kind of were like game-changing songs. It's like they're just a band noodling around and then like the songs kind of come out and it's like mystical and amazing to watch, but it's also like less mystical and amazing than people would make it because they're doing what people have to do to write and make music. And so it's like on one hand it's like brilliant and genius because you have like the reason I brought up Paul, that one of the most amazing parts of that documentary, he like comes in the morning to the studio with a song that he wrote overnight, like just a piece of a song that he wrote overnight in the hotel room out of frustration. And it's Let It Be. It's just like, it's, it's just, it just came to him and like he played it and kind of riffed on it and then built the song from there. But it's like, that's like that moment of like, whoa, this is crazy genius that you're just like, response to like frustration is like I'm gonna go home and write like one of the most iconic songs the Beatles did. Um, but at the same time, it's also like half the songs they come up with, like Harrison, another genius, just like comes in and is like working on songs for Abbey Road that like but again, it's like it's genius because you can see the seed of what it's going to become, but it also is like very much in reality in the sense of like they're a band that has to kind of riff it out and work it out. Um, I don't know. Um, I think that's the neat thing about genius is like it tends to be kind of like this mix of both things where it's um, both brilliant and amazing and also um, not as like mystical as people make it. Not to belittle genius because I think that that's a bad trend in our society too, where people will kind of belittle um, genius work or whatever. Okay, so we are almost done with this rough. Do you see how that works? The dog in the panel's like, did you say rough? I'm gonna make that joke. I'm gonna make that easy, obvious joke that makes people roll their eyes because I figure if you guys are watching this, like it's fun to learn art stuff, but it's also fun to have like a dad joke now and then. So was there a like what was the crux of the dream, Landon? Now I'm like kind of curious. Like it had all these people who kind of had seen the Matrix and stuff like that. Um, it sounds like a pretty profound one you must have been having or something, because you know. So I want that desk like relatively close. And there we go. And then that's going to dictate where the line for the yes. Okay. There we go. Now we can kind of really fill out. Oh, we need that ink pot and paper. This is one of those things in sequential that's hard to remember, and it's always good to work out in roughs, because when it comes to final, you don't want to be the person making the movie who like forgets that the like in the big war scene or whatever that's supposed to be in like Viking times, you forget that one of the extras is wearing chucks or something, or you get like a boom mic in the shot, or like, you know what I mean? Like the equivalent to that in comics would be like um someone is holding something and then the thing disappears, or um something's in the room and then it's not in the room and then it's back in the room. And some of that's inevitable and will happen, but if you can avoid it, roughs are a good way to kind of avoid those potential embarrassments, that'll pull people out of the story. Okay, here we go. We're getting there, guys. We're getting there. There we go. We have a rough for that panel. Oh my gosh, believe it or not, we're kind of halfway there. A little bit, very close to halfway there. I'm going to turn off the visibility of this. I will merge this down. Turn off our thumb. Merge down. Merge visible. Oh, no. Now we'll merge visible. Oh, Landon said, "Peace out, dude." All right, well, have a good night, man. I hope you sleep better. All right, so there we go. I'm gonna basically, I think it's been a good 2 hours. Yes, we're at the 2-hour mark. So I'm gonna play you guys a trailer for 2 stories. My graphic novel that's currently out right now, and you can order through Amazon at like a discounted rate and get shipped to you for free if you have Amazon Prime, which I'd recommend you guys do. So while this plays, I will recharge my batteries and refill my coffee. And I hope those of you who are watching are enjoying. And I will kick on the jams. It's time to kick out the jams, guys. All right. All right, so we're back. I hope you guys enjoyed that trailer, and I hope you've picked up those books. And now we're going to get back into the grind. I have my refilled coffee, and the nice thing is, I don't think there's as much environment. You guys can make fun of me if that's not the case, but I don't think there's as much environment in this, in these next few panels. The food one might be a little annoying, but other than that, I think these will go relatively quickly. So we're going to do our
thumb here where and again, like the kind of the tighter these are, the easier it's going to be. Like not tighter, but like the more worked out they are, it'll be a lot easier to kind of take them to final. Because like some of these backgrounds, I'm not really going to have to redraw a ton. I'll just have to like kind of go over them and really refine the line work and stuff. But I'm pretty happy with some of how this is coming out. All right. Next thumb is just specifically Robert, and he's looking to his bottom right. So I need to remember that, and I need to pull up my Robert reference again. And the neat thing is, after a while, I'm really going to get comfortable with Robert and not have to like resort to these references as much because I'll kind of know him. So here, Robert's going to be wearing the outfit to the left, and he's going to be looking in concern and kind of like with his mouth open. Okay, let's do this. Let's do it. I said do it. Okay, here we go. And then his hand is okay. Then he's going to be holding her hand as well. So here we have him. So I'm going to have Robert have his expression. Okay, I'm going to just draw it through. Don't be too tight with it. Okay, so his expressions here. His eye is going to be like a little startled. That eyeball is a little too close. Oh my gosh, why did my text? What the hell just happened there? That's the downside of shortcuts, is every once in a while you have like a real kind of doozy of a miskey. Okay, and again we're gonna save too. So okay, I want him to be okay. I like that expression that he's got down there, but I also like the idea of kind of keeping with his expression here. So it'll be kind of pulling the two, and then his specific nose that I like. He's got that like real like kind of hook nose going. And his eyebrow is going to come out a little more than that. And I want his eyeballs to be a little more kind of down. So, because we're really trying to lead the viewer to really look to that next panel. So then he's going to be like, whoa. Okay. Now we're going to do, these eyeballs are a little too big. Now we're going to do his hair, which is going to be this this neat hairdo that we're going to get used to the further we get into this book. And the hairdo is going to kind of go out like that. And then we've got our Wolverine stuff going on there. And then we're going to have, don't like that. That seems like, okay. And then we're going to have like a little bit of this. Mr. Browning. There we go. Kind of a wild doozy of a Wolverine thing going on there. Okay. And there we go. We have, kind of think we're getting there. And then we're going to have our little bit more detail. Maybe there's like a little bit of that, a little bit of head structure there. Okay. Cool. Okay. So then he's going to have his, this goes out a little more, wraps around. This is going to be that. And he's going to have her hands in his. Oh, that's right. We changed the posture of the hand there. So it was sort of more casually resting in his. And then he's going to be having his outfit on. And we're going to have somewhat. I like the other version where his arm's a little more down because it has a lot more movement to it. So and we're going to have this as more of a, okay, there we go. And then this will be the posture. I like the idea of her having both her hands there. Okay, cool. So there we go. Panel done. Is it done though? Or is it better if it has a little more movement? That's done. Okay. Now we're going to just add a little bit of shadow. And we're done with that, that bit, that business there. So we're going to have that to establish the lighting a little bit. And this, and I think it's going to be a room where the light source is coming from behind him. So it's going to go from like a light to a relatively dark. Good. Okay. To a relatively dark spot. And just trim that up. And we have ourselves a panel. That's not too bad. Okay. Now, I'm afraid I might have to. No, I don't. Okay. What we have to do now, we're almost at 2 in the morning. We have to have a hard out at 3. I can go a little further because I had a little more of a nap today, but I don't want to burn myself out for tomorrow. Okay. So now we need to work out the food, dinner tray, and I think that's all really I need to do. Food, dinner tray, and I want to have it match the page 6 final. Okay, so we're going to get into that chair. Okay, there we go. Okay, so now we have here, we're going to have the plate, the dinner tray. So this is going to be the entree. That's going to be got it. Okay, so we're going to do the entree. It's going to have all these foods on it. And here we're just sort of having fun. I know like this food is going to have like these things to it. Maybe this has like one of those things. Okay. That's fine. Should be a little more smooth. Okay, so we have that, and then we have our plate of some potatoes or something, and then I've got my raw meat in cutlets here with like some shrimp or something. Raw meat and cutlets. Some shrimp or something. Raw meat and cutlets. Shrimp or something. And then we're going to have that be on a plate. And this be on a plate as well. And then that's all going to be on the this kind of awesome Victorian type thing, which I think is going to have like a vibe of like some of these corners. Then it's going to have the handle. So that's the tray. That's going to be on this, which we will see sort of like that. Our entree, there's going to be the dresser part of it that might even have a sort of filigree-ish handle to it. And the base and the rug. And from his perspective, if he's looking at it, we might actually see like a little corner of the room here that we saw in the very intro. So, and that room part is going to have this filigree thing. And another sort of entree
Okay, there we go. We're going to have like a little bit of our thing. And then again, we have blasted through the annoying food drawing. So now all I have to do is find my layer that had all that worked out. And then we just are going to add some light and shadow to it. That's going to be coming from here more. So and then we're adding some shadows and the fireplace right over there. Oh, we're going to have his hat. His hat's going to be, I don't know. We'll figure it out, but guessing his hat would be somewhere here. And we'll kind of work that out much better in the final, but for now, that's going to kind of, that's where we are. Cool. Sweet. 3 more thumbs to go, guys. And the nice thing is all of them, save the middle, are going to go pretty quick. Okay. We're creeping towards 2 in the morning here, and I want to finish this page. And I think I can get away with 3 as a hard cutout just because I had a little extra sleep. So I'm going to refill my coffee and then, well, no, you know what? Let's get through a little more. I was going to refill my coffee and then I realized, no, we don't have time. So let's get through it and see how far we can get. Maybe we can finish the roughs for the day. Okay. So I'm going to have Robert here. We're going to Elizabeth, I think we have, and we just need her side for this, so that shouldn't be too bad. So now in this case, it's going to be Robert. Robert, who is, you know what? Okay. Is it the same angle? It is. It is the same angle. My goodness. It's the same exact angle that Robert's at. We're just going to show a little bit of Elizabeth now. That is wonderful. That is really good news. And here he's going to be saying, you. Let's see here. This is more going to be a brow of concern. Okay. And that's going to be Robert there. And then we're going to have Elizabeth here. I do want to see one thing of Elizabeth real quick. Okay. Let's get our Elizabeth here. Just have a better idea in my head here. Okay. Do we have... Where's my Robert panel? Was that... Oh, that was all in one panel. Okay. Let's see what is this. Check this out. Love it. Okay. So now we're going to have no idea what this extra thing is. I don't want to delete layers. I don't know. Okay. So I need to move EBB a little bit over. Okay, there we go. So now we're going to do our real quick sketch that's going to be kind of her cheeks. Okay, and this will be and she's going to have that frilly thing going there, and then we're going to have the shoulder, which will be more here, and that's going to be reaching out. And I think it might be kind of like this, where that's going to work more with those hands. Okay, we're going to work this out. We'll work this out, you guys. Okay. Maybe it's that. Now we have I love it. Wizard sleeves. Now we've got Elizabeth here. She's going to be definitely in shadow. And we're going to get our more of that darker background here. As it kind of pertains to her. And then it's going to have
text, which is going to say, "You look as worried as I imagined." Okay. Let's turn off this stuff. Whew, we're getting there, guys. I'm going to turn off this, turn off the thumb, consolidate the layer again. Okay. And then it's going to say, for now, I'm just going to write it in white. You look as worried as okay. This is part of why roughs are good too. You can kind of work out your layout, especially on type. I imagined and then we'll do our circle loop. And this is just for a rough, right? Okay. So now I'm going to move this to a space where it kind of works a little better. That actually works a lot better. We're going to move this to a space where that works a little better. And I'm going to move this. And we're going to actually rework this a little bit. Again, we're just kind of figuring this out. Okay. It's going to be more equivalent to perfect. And now's the fun part, guys. Again, this is just a rough. Our type will be a million times better on the final. Okay, so then we're gonna do the fun part, lock that. We'll just fill this in temporarily. Cool. Okay, now I'm going to take a break for a second. And then we've got 2 more panels left, guys. I'm pretty excited about how quickly these are coming together. I know it seems like maybe not so quick, but to me, it's pretty quick. Okay, so we're going to merge that down. We're going to merge that down. And we're going to kind of see what's this. Okay, that is not important. Okay. A few more seconds. Okay, so I'm going to go disappear and then play you guys the trailer for Jacob's apartment again. And then we will get on to the next panel. 2 panels left, and we'll have the whole page thumbnailed, which I'm really excited about. Yeah. Okay, so here is the next trailer. This will be for Jacob's Apartment, my graphic novel coming out in June, on June 7th. And if you guys are in the Toronto area, I'll be at TCAF at the end of June at the Graphic Mundi booth. If God willing, like, right? Like, as long as my flight arrives and all that fun stuff. So yeah, if you're in the Toronto or like New York area and you want to pick up a copy and get it signed, that'd be a really good, it's an amazing convention anyway. I'll be able to give more details later, but I have a live events page on joshuakemble.com where you can check that out. And now I'm going to play that trailer.
Speak clearly, it seems that only in dreams can we be these things we've seen and walk around breathing things. I don't know the part to play in this heart of mine. There's dissonant things, they split at the seams.
All right, so it is getting into the wee hours of the morning, and we're gonna finish this. We're gonna get this done. Okay. So again, I'm gonna move my thumbnail to a nice spot where I can see it. This is a little bit more of a complicated scene, but again, we don't really need to see a ton. And for this, I'm gonna need a few things. There's Robert costume, Robert. I'm gonna need Robert. I'm gonna need my Chase Lounge again, probably for the close to the last time. Chase Lounge 7. We're gonna need our save. Okay. I'm gonna also need my I don't need the maid. That's good. I need the drawing desk, which is going to be here. Oh, come on. Drawing desk right here. I'll go ahead and put that right here. And then we're going to have our, where is our lovely bookshelf. So we're going to find the bookshelf right now. Bookshelves. There it is. Bookshelf coming through with a bang. And then I'm going to actually have my cocker, which I think, yes, we kind of looked at 2, and I kind of felt like this was a better route. Was that it? No. We had 3 panel, and I think this was the final one we settled on. No, this one. No, this one. This was the final one we settled on for the Cocker Spaniel. That seemed to match the vibes a little better. All right. Okay, composition is going to be interesting here. Okay, so now I've got my thumb, got all that stuff, and we're going to knock out this rough. We don't have a ton of time, so I just have to be less precious and just get it knocked out. So okay, we got Robert. Let's just do Robert scratching the dog. Okay, so Robert is here. He's going to be kind of his hair, his ear. This is the comb over part of his hair, I believe. And now he's going to be very happily like, hey, how's it going, dog? And like his hooked nose. What? Oh, I'm getting a little too noodly here. Let's start with just a dot. His nose. Just going to hook here. That's kind of a key thing with his nose. Cheek, okay, and then he's going to be doing the hey. Okay. Then we're going to have his ear more appropriate. His hair probably more appropriate. That'll go back a little bit. Okay, and then we're going to have him in that posture. So, okay, he's wearing this costume. He's got his shoulder is forward. Okay, so he is okay. Shoulder of the costume here. He's going to be petting the dog like this. Like so, but he's giving the dog a good old scratch. So he's going to be kind of clawing the hand a little bit. So then we're going to have this. It's going to meet a little more like that. Okay, there we go. Gigantic arm there. Okay. And now we're going to have this more kind of like that, actually, because it's going to be more like the jacket. We'll have the jacket. Come on. I want to save. I'm not losing work. Okay, the jacket's leaning forward a little bit. I think the posture there was good, where he's going to be a little bit like, maybe leaning forward. Leaning forward, the jacket's to the side a little bit. And he is pivoting on his leg that he is leaning on, so that's going to be a little bit it. And we have some, I forgot the key component here, guys. That's why it's not looking like Robert. He's going to have like his rad kind of beard thing going. And a little bit of this. Maybe his legs up. I actually like that more from my thumbnail. So his leg is up a little bit more. And now we can actually shrink it down a little bit.
Okay. Now we're going to have our dog. Dog who's like, he's going to be kind of leaning into it a little bit with the touching the ear, his ears pressed up against him. This is going to say scritch. Scritch. And we're going to have kind of more like a type of thing where he's leaning. Now the dog's going to have like his whole body weight is like leaning into that with his little paws out here. Maybe a little bit more like that. And I think we were going to have the tail just like thwap, thwap. Okay, cool. There's the dog. Again, rough. We'll work it out a little bit better, but for now that works. So that's the edge of the bed. I think we're going to have to, because I want this to be, Robert is on the, yes, she's on the left. Okay. So now I want this to be like Elizabeth, who is smiling at him. And I think I like the idea of it being kind of more, what am I doing here with that face? Okay. We're going to do Elizabeth smiling, tilted head. And definitely got her like hair stuff going. And maybe she's at this point, like her shoulder is leaning in. Kind of liked that idea. I actually like this. So it's like they're all kind of in a, we're crunching in the room a little bit, but that's okay. I kind of think that works. And then we're going to have, this is the bed clearly. That's going to be like the Chase Lounge. Then we're going to have, I actually like that. I was like, I think I'm cheating some perspective here, but I actually think that works okay for what it is. So now he's going to be saying, there's a good boy flush. There, Good boy. Flush. And I think that'll make more sense as like a almost like here. Okay. And then we're going to have our panel border here. And again, this is just a placeholder for when I work out the panel borders much more proficiently. But there's a good boy flush. Perfect. Okay. Now we have no need for some of this stuff, but I think it's still going to be useful. So then we're going to have the corner of the desk here. Didn't need a ton of that, but at least that'll give us an idea. Here's going to be the thing. Desk might go all the way. Honestly, I thought we were going to have the bookshelf, but I think the desk will be it. Then other than, you know, there's going to be like a writing pen there. Maybe we have some of the papers there. And then again, the portrait hung over here. And some of the kind of crazy Victorian stuff. Like molding, I think is what that's called. Okay. I think that's going to do it. Okay. So we're actually getting closer to done, you guys. Much closer to done. And thumbnail. Whew. Much closer to done. Oh my goodness. Did I already merge that? Wow, that's a problem. Okay. Well, whatever. Merge down. We're going to go ahead and I usually try to keep my thumbnails, like my panel borders themselves, separate, but that's okay. It doesn't really matter. They all get flattened anyway. Okay. So now we're going to add a little bit of background to it. From this background, it's going to be a little more like that. This will be really dark. We're going to have a little bit of the shadow that's coming from the bookshelf that's over there. And then we're going to have definitely some like ambient-ish lighting as it comes closer to the top of the thing. Okay, and then we're going to clean it up. Where it's definitely not going to be overlapping Robert or the dog or the dialogue bubble. And now we're going to get this deleted. Oh my gosh, you guys. If I can get most of this done by like 2:30, I have hit my mark, which is cool. Because the goal is to get this done and to the publisher tomorrow, so I have something to show. Want to try at my best to have something to show every night. Every once in a while, there's going to be a night where I have nothing to show, because like a night like yesterday where it's like a lot of research and stuff like that. But ideally, I would like to have things show. Ah, yes. Okay, here's where we need Elizabeth. We're getting really good progress here. Okay, where's EBB? First, we got Chase Lounge 8.
Chase Lounge 8 is going to be here. Okay. Now we have basically I just need her face, the EBB. EBB3. Perfect. That should kind of do it. So we're going to have to do this. Okay. It's going to be her saying, I want her to be saying this with a little bit of charm. So I don't want it to be like, I want it to be a little bit flirty. Even though she is sad and she's sincere, I think when she's saying, and how would you have me look, Robert, I still think she's going to need to have some charm to it. But I don't want her like full on smiling. Just with her eyes, she's kind of smiling. Should be more. There we go. Okay, so then she's going to be sort of like having her hand behind her neck right here. It's just an interesting gesture that I kind of sketched out and I think would be really good. Or maybe it wasn't, but I think that kind of works really well. And her head is like huge here, so I will shrink it down. I don't know why I'm struggling to draw a face today, man. I am usually pretty on point with faces, and like furniture and hands and stuff are like more of the challenge. Whereas, you know, I think it's so late in the night that I'm like, my own strengths are kind of working against me. But we're going to power through it. Okay, so that's kind of how we do this stuff. This is how we do this thing called art, guys. Power through our weaknesses. Okay, so here's her. She's going to be saying, I want to do, okay. Okay. And here she's going to be okay. Wizard gloves. I'm gonna have some of this there we go. Okay, we're getting there, guys. Getting there. Okay, and she's saying, and how would you have me look? Okay, and we're gonna have I want her to have more of a inquisitive, like, yeah. Okay. Okay, we're actually almost there, guys. I'm actually very excited about this. Okay, so then the Chase Lounge that I looked up there isn't really going to need much except like really just kind of looking at the arch that's happening there. And then we're just going to kind of have it go dark. And again, like, can you believe it? We did it. We did our rough. So now I'm going to get to this Chase Lounge. We're going to turn off the thumbs. And we have it done. We have a thumbnail, you guys. Like, well, not a thumbnail, a rough of the entire page. So that's going to do it for our stream. We finished roughing out the entire page. So now we have like a good set of roughs. So I have page, let's see, we have page 7 and 8 now roughed out. And so we're making some progress. And hopefully that works really well. So I'm going to close this out. Thanks to everybody who's watched this live stream. If you like what I'm doing, please consider buying my books and pre-ordering Jacob's Apartment, which comes out in June 7th. All the information for that's on joshuakemble.com. You can also just find links to where to buy my books or pre-order my books in the description below. And then also make sure you've hit the subscribe on here. If you're watching on Twitch, make sure you're following. And then also the last thing you can do is just hit the bell if you're watching on YouTube, and that'll give you notifications where we're about to go live so you can join the live streams, even if it's just to pop in and tell me about your strange dreams you had or whatever. It's pretty awesome. I appreciate everybody in the community. And if you're watching this after the fact, please leave a comment. let me know how you guys go about like kind of tight roughs for your work. And that'll basically do it. I will see you guys on tonight's stream, which will be on Artcasters, where we actually have David Chelsea, like one of my favorite cartoonists, also a master of perspective, who literally wrote the foremost, most important book on perspective. And he'll be joining us on my channel on Artcasters to walk us through a demo on how to draw over a perspective grid, which I think is really exciting and cool and will hopefully be informative for those of you out there. I like David a lot. I like his work a lot, and he's a wealth of knowledge on the subject of perspective. So make sure you guys are tuned into that as well, which will be at 9 p.m. tonight. And with that being said, I'm out. And yeah, have a good night, guys. Bye.